Hi, and welcome to Bridging the Gap. I'm Ian Hansen. This is intuitive medium and spiritual advisor Brenda Burgett. Brenda, wonderful to be with you as always.
It is fun. It's good to be here.
We have a very special treat, a first for Bridging the Gap on this edition of the program, because earlier in the week we had an opportunity to work with an animal on site. Actually, Brenda worked with them. We just observed and advised. We were in an advisory role that day. So you're going to see a lot of Brenda Burgett on this edition, and I will be quiet. So a lot of you have been waiting for this. You get your chance.
Hey.
Wonderful animal, though, a horse at a nearby stable within the region. These folks contacted you. You went out to work with Maddie.
Maddie was a very highly papered pinto and with a problem. So we got to not only meet Maddie, but we got to speak with the owner, who was very special. And I think it was the first time the two of you got to see how this works.
Yeah, I was a little privy to it from having watched you do this, in the past. But again, not for very long, not to the extent that you're going to see as far as Brenda's work with Maddie is concerned on today's edition of the program. So it was a special occasion. I think you're going to see Brenda, what I would call her best. I mean, you're really in your element here. And I think the video is pretty self-explanatory. So why don't we let folks get a chance to watch it, and then when it wraps up, we'll ask a few questions on behalf of what it is that you've seen. But I think you get a pretty good idea from just watching the raw footage, which is what you're going to be presented with here, pretty unedited as far as what you'll see is concerned, and I think you'll agree. It's pretty magical stuff, and we understand that Maddie is, we'll give you an update on her after you watch this. Remember, you're watching Bridging the Gap with Brenda Burgett. I'm Ian Hansen. You can find us online where you probably have right now. It's bridgingthegapwithbrenda.com or bridgingthegaptv.com, either place. As far as the address bar, get you to the same place you're watching this now, or of course our YouTube channel, which is Bridging the Gap on TV. Hello to Ghana. We hope everything's well in northwestern Africa. They have Bridging the Gap TV, so it's Bridging the Gap on TV on YouTube. We're getting all that shuffled around. And Brenda, we ready to have a look at what you did with Maddie earlier in the week?
Let's look at it.
Here's Brenda Burgett, spiritual advisor, doing animal communication, helping out a horse named Maddie. I think you'll find this pretty incredible. Enjoy it. We'll come back when it wraps up and have some final words for you in this edition of Bridging the Gap.
It's her, according to the vet, hang on baby, it's her right rear, possibly fibrotic myopathy, very tight. I've been using devil's claw and massaging her and stretching her every day. She came from a person who loved her but maybe didn't provide the best care.
Like a dog, treat her like a pet.
Yes, yes. And I owned her before that, and she comes from championship bloodlines. So, I mean, she's just, in my mind, regal. I think in her mind, too.
Absolutely. The attitude is right there.
Yeah.
You have to understand, I'm not a vet.
I know that.
And I will never,
I understand.
I don't want to be sued or anything.
No, not at all.
But what's going on with her is there's like a catch. I can feel it here.
Uh-huh.
And I mirror, so it's that side.
Oh, okay. Left versus right.
It feels like left. Could be right in the center.
Mm-hmm.
But she's compensating for one thing and then putting pressure on another.
Okay. All
And
right.
this actually is just, I'm not going to give you advice on what to do, but it's
Sure.
a stretching thing.
Okay.
And she also has gotten a little bit lazy. She likes being pampered. May I run some healing energy through her?
Absolutely. Please
Okay.
do.
See if we can get her really relaxed. I get a feeling that the lady that had her before gave her way too many treats. Her weight might have been an issue.
Oh, yeah.
So what happens with that is you get
weight on a horse that's not used to having weight, and then it does all kinds of screwy things, and then they compensate by the way they move, and it's just like us.
Yeah.
So I would exercise her a lot,
Okay.
gently, and
Right.
almost to the point where she's mad at you, which she gets mad at you.
Oh, she does. Yeah, we've been there before.
She also respects you, and she knows you know and you care about her. She actually was not challenged at all where she was at. So there's an issue you're going to have to
Work through.
Well, you have to talk to her. She will understand.
Oh,
you.
yeah.
But the most important thing is to get her permission and make it a partnership with the two of you. She adores you. More than that, she respects, I think, as well.
Right.
Does she have problems with her feet?
She did. Do you know Claire Painter?
I know who it
She's a
is.
barefoot farrier, and she had front shoes on when she got here, and her feet were very pinched. So we took those off, and Claire opened up her frogs a bit, and I mean that'll probably take 6 months to recover.
It's going to take a while,
Yeah.
so you might want to be careful with the exercise until
Yeah.
then. Actually, there's danger of some. I don't learn anatomy so for a reason.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
there's two things coming into the hoof, and because of those
Right.
shoes, one of them is tweaked a little bit.
Okay. All right.
So I would recommend massage and maybe the shoe they put on them for a little while, or sweat them. Do something before it actually gets serious,
Okay.
because I see that as being the next issue.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and that the weight too will cause that.
Yeah, weight.
Yeah.
This actually is on this side, but the problem is
Yes.
I'm, like I say, I'm mirror sometimes.
Oh, right.
She's having breathing problems with the
With
air
the
right
smoke.
now. Oh, wow. See if I can get her to come talk to me. Turn her back and go eat. Do you ever had trouble with her teeth?
No, but she probably needs to be floated.
She does.
Okay.
She also has one eye that, if you get her on like a trail or something, and she gets a little skittish, and again, I mirror, sometimes I'm not sure which eye,
Sure.
but one eye has like what
A
we
little
have, a little
Cataract maybe.
thing that
Okay.
might cause her to frighten her a little bit because she sees things coming
Differently.
jumping.
Okay.
So if that happens, it's not a behavioral problem.
Right.
It's probably
Right.
her eyes.
Yeah.
Are you going to keep this horse?
Till she dies.
All right, we need to tell her that because
yeah.
she still thinks she might not be here.
Oh, okay.
That's what's bothering her the most right now.
Okay,
Is that
she's
she may
worried.
have to go away again.
Oh no.
She absolutely loves you.
Absolutely.
She's got what we talked about going on. This thing might be careful with it till the air clears up a little bit. And the exercise we were talking about, I probably would wait a while until this. And this is what I'm the most concerned about.
Okay. Front row.
And
Okay.
the other, if you stretch it out a little bit and sort of work with her, she'll be okay.
Okay.
Most important thing I have to tell you is she needs to be with you. And We're both gonna fall. It broke her heart when you gave her.
That was both of us.
That's okay. You know, it's not a mistake in her. With her, it's not a mistake. She just needs to know she's staying. When you talk to a horse, you can talk to her without opening your mouth, without saying anything, but what you need to do is keep it really, really simple. Like you're talking to, I like to say, a 5-year-old boy.
Right.
Because if you have a 5-year-old boy, you say, eat your soup. If you have a little girl, you say, hi, sweetheart, here's your soup. Nice and warm, eat it. Eat your soup.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful spirit. You have a connection.
We do. We always have.
Never bring Kleenex with me, but it's always a good idea. Do you have anything you want to say to her?
I've been talking to her through, you know, my mind, and I mean, I come see her every day. And just,
She's still waiting to leave.
okay, she's worried.
There's nothing physically that can't be taken care of. My biggest concern is her feet.
Okay.
And will you walk her for me a little bit? You see that back end where she goes? It really does bother her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to do some healing energy
Okay,
to her right
great.
now. What does the vet say about the treatment for the horse?
Well, he put her on bute 2 grams a day every day, and she just can't stay on that long term.
No.
It will be bad for her.
It's like prednisone for people.
Yeah, so what I found online was equivalent homeopathic devil's claw,
Good.
and so
Good.
I'm using that instead now.
Okay. And massage would be wonderful.
Every day.
Do you know Ted Moomaw?
I do not.
If we can get him to come down, I would love to. He does the healing energy as well, and he's amazing.
Okay, I'll get his number in my phone. And
Yeah, I'll have to get it for you.
okay, yeah.
This is going to heal. This energy relaxes them so much they almost fall. So I have to be smart to know
Yeah,
when
get out of the way.
to get out of the way. See what she's doing. Will you walk her a little bit?
Yeah, come on, baby.
Why did they say cause this? Was the vet's reasoning?
His impression was that it was something that had been coming on for months and months and months, possibly years, fibrotic myopathy. And Tammy, my friend in California who owned her during the period I didn't, never saw anything. Within 3 days of arrival, she was completely lame and stocked up. And I don't know.
What is your intentions for the horse?
She's 17, so my intention was to bring her back home, essentially to me, and just
Keep her pain-free and move a
pain-free
little
and
bit.
comfortable.
Okay.
Absolutely, that's
Right.
the priority. I mean, in the event I am able to ride her, that would be awesome, but that may not be possible, and that's
I
okay
think
with
that'll
me.
be possible.
Yeah.
She hasn't had her best time yet.
Oh wow. Okay.
And I have no connection to the outcome, by the
Right,
way.
right.
I'm just telling you
What you're getting.
what I'm getting. She is in pain
Yeah.
quite a bit.
I know. Forgive me, huh?
And you can relieve it yourself. Let me show you. I'm going to give you some of this.
Okay.
Okay. Feel the energy? Okay, we're very spiritual. That's a Native American. You're up. Good. Okay, now I want you to run your hands gently. Feel it? You can see where the pain is. So the idea is to sweep it out of her. I do an energy called reconnection, which means at one time we were connected to our source with strings and strands that have been disconnected, so we're connecting her to her source.
Thank you.
Was that an opinion? And the head goes down and the lips start to move. She's enjoying it. There she goes. Okay, now you can practice this with your hands, but you can also do it with your mind when you're not here with her. And she'll contact you and let you know when she needs it. So you just send her energy. It's not your energy, it's coming through you, your contact. You're connecting her with her source. Make sense? I do, I'm a third level Reiki. It's not my energy. This is a different, it's a good energy. It's just not what I do. Okay, let's see if you can walk her just a little bit. It's like a little catch in there, isn't it? Can you feel that?
Yeah.
It's quite painful. She does need to think she has a job,
Okay.
even if it's not performing or whatever. And if that's just as simple as taking care of you, then that's what she needs to do.
Okay.
For now.
Yeah.
Let's kind of let the energy work on her.
Mhm.
And I'll send her energy every time I think about her. What was her name again?
Maddie.
Maddie.
Yeah. That's her pet name. Her registered name is Skipper Bar Sunday.
Teeth do need to be worked on.
Okay.
And she does have that eye thing going on.
Okay.
She was not a particularly healthy baby.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
but she slipped through the wires because she had all of these great bloodlines.
Yeah.
And nothing could have been done to change it, so it's no one's fault
Right.
exactly, but this is where she's at. And right now, at this time in her life, it's sort of biting her a little bit. The pain's going to be an issue, and when they're in pain, they favor it. They stop.
Oh, for sure.
They're not like us and keep going. They will
Right.
stop, which is going to be important to get the weight off.
Yep.
And just like you'd have to tell her you're glad she's here and she's yours and she's not going anywhere. Just hear that? You're not going anywhere. Do you have any questions?
No, this has been fantastic.
You can call me if you have another question or you want me to come out.
Oh, thank you.
And if you're not here, I'll just, with their permission, I'll just stand outside and work on it.
Welcome back inside the studios, if you can call it that. We call this the Wuji Room, actually, here on Bridging the Gap. Ian Hansen, along with intuitive medium and spiritual advisor Brenda Burgett. Brenda, Maddie is a special animal. They're all really special. This is really the funnest part, I think, of what it is that you do as an advisor, as a spiritual conduit, as a healer. And working with animals, you got a chance to see one animal at least, hopefully one of many you'll be seeing on the program here. Always special for you.
I love it. I rarely meet an animal I don't like. And this horse had some issues. It was in pain, had an extremely sensitive, wonderful owner, I think. And always you find that the owners need as much help as the animals. So I'm not sure. We never promise or guarantee anything with the outcome, but we ran some healing energy through Maddie. Found out what was bothering her besides what the vet had said. And hopefully she'll be getting some relief. I don't know. I haven't really heard back, but we'll be contacting her and see how it went.
Very good. Brenda's opening line, by the way, to tell us about that. I think she stole it from Mae West. You know,
What was that?
I never met an animal I didn't like. So we know someone who does a great Mae West. I'm not really there just yet, but it sounds like something she would say. We actually got a little bit of an update on Maddie. I did anyway,
Did you?
Brenda, because because one of the owners of this animal actually is a frequenter of the coffee establishment that I am far too often, and I got a chance to see him most every day this week after we worked with this animal,
Great.
and have been asking him, how is Maddie? And he says, well, and we're kind of waiting again to see maybe in the long term how things go for her, but so far, so good. I know she had a number of issues going on.
She
and
did.
You mentioned the link, Brenda, that always seems to exist between owner and animal, and no different in this case whatsoever. A lot of times when you help an animal, you're also really aiding the owner in the process.
And I try really hard to remember to say in the beginning, do you want the full meal deal, as I call it, or do you just want your animal read? Almost everybody wants to know what their connection is with the animal. And I have never not seen a connection. The animal is sick, something's wrong with it, has a behavioral problem, always linked with the owner. The owner is tied in with the fact that the horse is, or the animal isn't doing well, so there's sometimes some guilt or just sadness or frustration, but it's got to be a healing for both parties in one way or the other. It's either a healing, and I've seen some miraculous healings happen, or it's a healing on a spiritual level.
And you can tell the emotion, certainly, that was attached to this animal. It's probably the case in just about every instance when you work with animals, but here we saw tears of joy, I suppose, tears of sorrow in some manners. This is an emotional experience for both animal and owner, and for you as well.
Very much for me as well. It's a privilege, number one, to be in the presence of these animals, because they're so pure and they're so vulnerable and just open. They don't question what I do. When they feel the energy coming, they immediately relax. I think you saw Maddie calm down, and they'll put their head in my hands, and which is amazing since I was terrified of them not too long ago. But I'm not allowed to fear of any kind. And So the animal that they picked for me to work on, of course, was a horse.
Big, powerful animals, but obviously
horses.
you had Maddie's trust right away.
Always.
There's a process that goes on, though, and you kind of explained that as you showed all of us, fortunately this time, what it's like to work with an animal like that to help it out. So
And also, I try to leave the owner with a little bit of the energy and power so that they can continue giving the horse energy. I like to do 3 sessions. I'll probably go back and do 2 more on the horse because it takes 3 times, a lot of times, to totally fix this. I'm not a vet, don't even pretend to be, but the energy is very powerful and it is healing energy. So we'll see what happens. I'm always not connected to the outcome. What I've been told not to do is not to feel like it's my energy or I'm doing anything other than acting as a conduit. So it's a wonderful gift. I love it.
it is, and I suppose that's both the blessing and the curse of how it works as far as a conduit is concerned, is the emotional attachment that's there. In one way, you want that. You want to be connected with those people and see how it is going and help out and know that things are going to be okay, but at the same time, you also can't take that on and walk through life with it with every single animal and person that you come in contact with. That
I learned that immediately.
I imagine you did.
It's, I've had a lot of animals that are dying, and their owners will bring them in, and they want, the animal wants the owners to know it's okay, that's what they're going through. And that's sad, but death is not sad. It's just a changing of energy.
We've talked about animals and also a changing of energy on past editions of Bridging the Gap. So we invite you to explore those, the titles of the programs. I name them so they get a little bit weird sometimes. Just go through the back catalog. We've got about a dozen episodes or so for you to go through. So look for the ones about animal communication we've already recorded, and if the subject has further interest to you, you can certainly find out more about what we've already discussed here on Bridging the Gap. Same goes again for what we just talked about too, as far as the changing of energy. That's something that comes up all the time. Brenda, an animal story that will take us from equines to arachnids to close out here, if you don't mind.
Okay.
I told you this story earlier in the week, and she
Very
looked at me
cool
like I
story.
was nuts. And when Brenda Burgett looks at you like you're nuts, you know you could legitimately be nuts. So here goes. The neatest experience with this little tiny spider. My desk is a mess right now, and it's got lots of CDs stacked up on it, and I won't bore you with the details there, but I walked in, was working at my computer, and I looked over one night, and here on the notebook with white paper on it, had some writing on it, but it was a stark contrast, is this little thing moving towards me, and I jumped back, and it's this little teeny tiny jumping spider. And he just ran up to the edge of the page and said hello, and I thought, how ridiculous. And I started talking to this spider. Yes, I did, just for a moment, because I said to myself, how crazy that he can be this big, and I can be this big, and I'm the one that's jumping back. I said, that must make you feel powerful. What are you hunting me for dinner tonight? He just stood there, and he sat there for the longest time and just looked at me, and he sat up a few times and did this with his little mandibles, and it was kind of an interesting experience. Now, one-off deal, told my wife about it. Went on with my day. Next day, came back later on in the evening, sitting there typing, glance over, out of my peripheral vision, I catch something in the corner of my eye. Here is that little guy sitting on the top of a stack of CDs that's about like this, and he's just sitting there watching me. And he gives me the same, hey, how you doing? How you doing? With the mandibles again. And he ran around, ran on top of the laptop, back and forth, hung out on the screen, was just my pal for a little while I was in there working. It was the neatest experience, and I almost feel like he was trying to tell me something like, hey, you're cool, you know, we know you're the guy that doesn't kill spiders when he finds them in the tub, because I don't. So
I totally am, I love this story. Now we'll do a little translating here. The little spider was going, okay, this guy's about 6 foot, 3, 4. We're going to need
how much web are we
55 yards of web. Then we're going to put this dude in the web, and we'll eat for years.
55 yards of web. That might do my head if you actually, you know, count what's floating
I
above it.
love this story, and I don't kill spiders. I don't kill anything, maybe a fly occasionally.
Flies and ants, I have to admit, to the universe at large, I'm still having a problem with, because they can overwhelm a house. We've had a little ant trouble this summer. It's been bad all over in this region, it seems like. So ants, if I find them, yeah, sometimes they get the old presto changeo, so their energy goes like that. But this little spider, it was just the neatest exchange between the two of us, because I really appreciated what he was in just that glimmer of time that we kind of spent together. I know that sounds bizarre, unless you're in the Arachnid dating club online, which they probably have, and I'm thinking I'm making that up. But I had a great appreciation for this little tiny creature, and he can do so many things that I can't. He showed off for me too for a little while at the side of the desk the first time. He went down about halfway and said, "Hey, look at this," and then he grappled back up again, and I really think he's just a cool little guy. I haven't seen him since, so maybe he made his way out, but it was a neat story.
It was a very almost spiritual thing, connection you had with this little creature. I think it's wonderful.
Hey, that spider had more personality than 3/4 of people I've met in the last 2 weeks, so that should tell you a lot.
Oh my.
Brenda, anything to, well, it's just about where we live and hang out, actually. It has nothing to do with humanity at large. Anything else to wrap up, Brenda, as far as the note of the equine that you worked with earlier in the week, Maddie?
Well, I also worked with a couple of cats, and like I said, we worked with 2 mules, 2 donkeys, a dog, and a cat, some coyotes, and a dead cat.
Some coyotes. Now, I didn't hear that story.
Coyotes were just there.
Oh, they were just
They let
watching.
me know
so.
they were there.
if one goes down, I get it first, right? That was the deal.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But here's, we do animal communication. So if you want a session with one of your animals, go on our webpage.
Send us your pictures. Send us pictures of your animals, and if there is something going on, maybe there's something physically wrong with your animal and vets are perplexed, or maybe in these times you can't really afford a vet. Again, we'd recommend veterinary care, certainly always, but perhaps there's something going on a vet hasn't been able to address, or if you're really stuck and again can't get the animal to proper care, you might try something from Brenda to tell you, hey, it needs proper care. You'd be able to do that for him, perhaps.
Perhaps. First thing out of my mouth is always call your vet, and then call me after you've called the vet. If it's a behavioral problem, I'm not always necessary to call a vet. Sometimes it's caused by physical, but they're here to teach us, and we're here to appreciate them. We're here to appreciate everything.
So send us pictures of your animals. Again, you can remain anonymous yourself. We'd love to have some kind of a name to attach to the animal pictures that we get. Let us know what the problem is. Brenda Burgett, spiritual advisor, intuitive medium, healer, will try and help out in any way she can with the problems you're having with you or your animals. And again, a lot of times the problems that the animals are having are linked to problems maybe that their owners are having, so perhaps she can help you in the process of that. Brenda, it was exciting to watch you work with Maddie over the course of this past week, and I'm so glad we had an opportunity to take Shuffy along. He filmed it, and we appreciate that very much, and now you had a chance to see it on this edition of Bridging the Gap. We will see you next time on the next edition of Bridging the Gap. For Brenda Burgett, I'm Ian Hansen. Until the next time around here on the program, enjoy your existence, folks. We'll talk to you soon.